Welcome to DevOps Accents, a podcast on everything around DevOps, public cloud, and cloud-native topics, with your hosts, Pablo, Leo, and Kirill.
Hello to all who listen to us and those who watch us on YouTube. Today we are in a reduced cast because Kirill caught cold and will not be able to delight you with his accents today.
Really, he has COVID, eh?
That yeah, but it's already in the cold state.
Okay.
I hope. Okay, so we wish him to recover soon and get back to us as soon as possible. But that didn't stop us from recording the podcast because we have so much to discuss. Hi, Pablo.
Hello, Kirill. How are you? How it was the last weeks?
Yeah. Okay, so let me just go over the updates real quick before we start. We had a webinar on AWS, and this time we had more attendees than before, which is nice. And if you missed this webinar, don't get upset because the next webinar is on April 12th. So you should sign up today to not miss it. The link in the description. And we also have an article from Kirill on how to deploy Ruby Telegram bot using AWS serverless application model. You should go and read it. And since we are so fascinated about bots and chats, Pablo have a video on our YouTube about making chat-gpt talk. You had fun making that video, didn't you, Pablo?
Yeah, it was a super cool experience because, okay, I will explain in 2 lines what it's doing. So the idea is that all of us, everyone in the planet Earth, is using GPT. Okay, chat-gpt, not GPT. Because we need to differentiate. Chat-gpt is a tool on top of GPT that is the language model that they use to generate the intelligence, let's say. No? So then the idea with this tool is that we have, when you talk with GPT, with an open with API, or you talk with ChatGPT, you always write. So then what I did is I use one of the OpenAI libraries that they have, because one of those is GPT, but they have another one, for example, called Whisper. That what is doing Whisper is doing a voice to test. So you talk to this, for example, whatever microphone, this microphone, you have a file and then you send the file to the API and the API is able to translate this voice to a test. It's very good because in the video is explaining that there are 2 files, so 2 repos, because there are 2 ways to do that. Because Whisper today, they have an API that is still in beta. I think that this is the reason of what I'm going to tell now. And there is another way is with open source. This open source version means that you can download the model in your laptop or like in the case in a container. And with the model, the full model in your laptop or in your container, you send the voice. Your computer, your CPUs is doing the work that normally GPU processors are doing that. And then you compute all these things and then you get the result, the voice. The difference what you do with API is that you send the file to OpenAI company, and they have the big machines, and they back to you with the answer. The difference is the time. The API is faster, but is expensive. Not expensive in that, a lot of money, but you need to pay for that. And the open source is free. But then you talk to ChatGPT. Sorry, you talk to GPT, not to ChatGPT, because it's not to chat, it's to GPT only. You talk to GPT, and then I made this version, and then Kirill said to me, okay, because he saw that to some friends, and said, okay, could be cool if even GPT can answer back to you talking. And the most simple way to make you translate a text to voice in a browser is a JavaScript function that is called speak. Okay, every browser, Explorer, Chrome, all of those, they can talk to you. And what I did is I get this test that is the answer back from GPT to me. And then with a super robotic voice, GPT answered to you.
It
And it's cool.
answers with almost like talking to Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, but more or less, okay. For sure that this is something that could be improved a lot, and it's something that we will do in the next weeks. But I enjoy a lot. And for example, my kids, my son, he was crazy because he was super nervous because I was talking to him. I was telling to him he's 9 years old. Now you can talk to the computer. No, Daddy, this is not true. Yes, you can talk to the computer. No, Daddy, say something to him. Sorry, I say him, maybe it's her or it, but okay. Say something to him. I don't want to offend anyone.
To them.
These days, you're going to say that. Okay, say something to him. And he was super nervous. And he said, I don't remember, something like, I don't know, which one is the biggest elephant in the planet Earth or something like that. And it's super cool, the face of my son, when GPT answered back with an answer, the biggest elephant.
A total sane answer.
Yes, with the total sane answer, answer, no something like a stupid thing. And it was something like, wow, it was super, super cool because really, what is happening with GPT these days is crazy.
Okay, but now that you made this video, I'll be honest. First time when I was watching this video, I was like, what's the big deal? How is this different from all those Alexas and Siris? We've been talking to a machine since like, I don't know, 10 years now. And they've been replying to us with almost sane answers. So how is that different?
Okay, first, maybe if you're telling that to me, I'm super happy, because I don't know how many developers are in Alexa, in Amazon, in Google doing that. And I made myself, because now I feel super good. I have to say
I made
something.
my own Alexa.
I sent part of the code to GPT to improve the code and to make part of the code that I didn't know how to do. That this is something good because itself, GPT, helped to do what is using GPT. So it's something super interesting, this thing. But okay, what is the difference? The difference is the model that you have under the voice. Because at the end, the voice is only an input-output. Alexa, whatever other beautiful lady voice, it's only something like what you have outside, and you don't see what you have inside. And for example, these weeks, there were many news about different other models. Like, for example, Alpaca. Alpaca is better to say it was, because it's something like the University of Stanford created. It's there, but they had to shut down the project for the public. What is that? Stanford made a 7 billion, so in American, 7,000 millions of parameters language model, and they make public to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And what the people was doing, they said, okay, so Alpaca is a 7 billion, so GPT-4 is 1 trillion parameters model. So what we can do is we can use, for example, GPT to train Alpaca. So then I can get the output of Alpaca, of GPT, and inject in the input of Alpaca. And many people were doing that to test. And with $500, $1,000, there were cases of $6,000. They were able to create a several billions language model. We have, for example, Meta create one that is called Llama.
Yes.
That is a super cool environment too, a language model. And this is, if I remember, Llama is something like 100 billion, something like that. Okay, or 85 billions of parameters. And check Google, super Google, that now is half of Google. Now it's only Google. So Google, they have since 1 year, one language model that is called PALM, P-A-L-M. And this language model is with 540 billions of parameters. And they never wanted to...
That's insane.
Yes, but it's half of GPT-4. So GPT is double of that. So, and they had this language model and they never wanted to show to the public. It was something like, no, it's only for us. And last week, they opened the API because this new project that they created that is like a chat-GPT. Again, PAL is the model. The chatbot on top of PAL is, in this case, if I remember, it's something like Burr or something like that. You remember that this service Weaver that we have last chat, like in the last...
Yes.
It's the same. I don't know who is the person who gives the names to the Google product, but you cannot call something Burr, something that nobody can pronounce. Okay, nobody that is not an English
Sounds
speaker.
like a burp.
Yes, it's something like Burr. What the hell is that?
Burp.
Okay. So they created a chatbot called Burr, and even today I was showing this info to our sickness friend colleague Kirill, and I was giving to him.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the Google Trends and you put chat-GPT and you put Burr, it's something like Burr is a red line under, so there is no
Just a
body.
flat line. Yeah.
Yes, and you see GPT is something like a rocket on the sky.
I think at this point, chat-GPT is not a name of technology, but it's rather a name of I don't know, like we have Wi-Fi, right? And we know that Wi-Fi is technology, but we all use it in an everyday life. Depending on there are a lot of different brands that produce Wi-Fi technologies, but we all call them like Wi-Fi, or we call all napkins like Kleenex because but Kleenex is a brand. So at this point, ChatGPT or GPT is not a brand anymore. It's like
Yes,
it's a name of phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon that now is again in the culture, because yesterday I was checking some statistics, and it's crazy because it was 80-something, 86, I don't remember the number, of the students in USA are using ChatGPT they were using ChatGPT last week to make the exercises. So the thing is, it's super cool, but it's going to make all of us more stupid, because if you have an algebra problem and then you get this algebra problem and you paste on ChatGPT and you have the answer and you copy the answer and you didn't check if the answer is okay or no, then you get the answer. You copy the answer, you put in your book, you go to the school and says, hey, it's done. And they say, oh, wow, very good. How'd you do that? So, and you have no clue, but you copy and paste. So then this is the problem, because it can make you not smart. It's the other way. It can make you lazy first and stupid second.
I agree with you, and this makes me think. Getting back to your video and what you did with that is before it took work hours of thousands and thousands of people to create Alexa and make her understand your requests and make you organize your calendars, to-do lists, or something like that. And they trained her to do that, and they trained her to do that in a human manner. But now it only takes one person to create basically the same tool, and
it's not the same one.
Okay, not the same.
Okay.
Okay, not the same, but you eventually you can get there.
Of course.
But it is not you who train a model how to give a reasonable answers to your requests, but and this makes me think that a lot of people can use this in a lot of different ways that we cannot predict right now. Like a doctor can ask for, like, give me the most reasonable treatment procedure for this illness, something like that. So we have this and that symptoms. What would be the result? And ChatGPT, okay, or a GPT model, okay, it can give you the same answer. And this is something that makes me wonder what will come out of it. And so many people have access to this.
And not only that, because if you check in the plugins, it's something crazy. Because, for example, a few hours ago, they GPT, the OpenAI company, so they released the new plugin that is a plugin to browse an internet. So, but directly, full. So there is another plugin where it's able to you can send a document to GPT, and he is able to understand the document. He's able to do what you want. Make me a graph. I want to find a problem here. What is you can work with. Is able to for example to understand the problems and retroalimент with the info, because it might be the case that you say who trained ChatGPT. So okay, who trained GPT? That is the model. Whatever of the models that we are using, because in the GPT environment there are different models, not all are the same. So everyone is different with different amount of input of tokens, output of tokens, sizes, answers. Not one model. There are many Da Vinci's, many kind of models that you have in GPT. And what GPT can do is automatically imagine if you have a Python code, then you can give I want you to do that, but then he does that. And now he is not executing the code. He's not compiling the code. He's not executing. And he has no idea if the code is failing. But imagine that he said, no, execute that. Because it's like when someone asks you, hey, what is that? You here. But imagine that physically you can get this code, execute the code. Oh, no, sorry. No, don't do that because he's failing here. Wait. I'm changing that. Boom. That's all. Ended. Because now when you give to GPT a question, hey, I want to create a function that is doing that and that and that and that. So he gave to you. Sorry that I say he, because I'm from Spain and we always put it's not it. Sounds very bad in Spanish, but okay, I said to say he or she, so I prefer to say he. So he said back to you a code that could be failing, could be an error code, and then you can get the code, the answer back and say, okay, it's giving to me that. Because it's based in something called context, that we can talk about that later on, because it's super interesting how it's working the context in ChatGPT and how there is no context in GPT. This is one of the main difference. So, but imagine that he itself is able to get the answer. Oh no, it's failing. It's failing. And in 3 seconds you get the complete code with no problems, with no errors. By developers.
To me, this is a pure magic. I'm not a programmer.
Black magic.
And
it's fucking black magic.
Yeah. Okay. So and I remember there was a saying that I don't remember how it sounds exactly, but it's something like any advanced technology at some point looked like a magic.
Yes, I read that today too. Yes, I was reading about that today, and it's crazy. It's true.
I remember the other day that you've been demonstrating to me the apps, the games that you created using ChatGPT, and to me, creating a game is a difficult task on itself. Like you have to create a code. For example, okay, you have this very simple football game when you have only 2 players and they're playing with the ball on a green football field, and you have to have a line of code that defines the color of this field and the shape and the lines on it, everything that you need to write every line of code to make this field to look like a football field. But then you just ask a ChatGPT, give me a game of 2 players playing on a football field, and it creates it by itself. And this is just beyond my understanding, like how it is even working. It to me this looks like a magic, and even my mom tries this. Okay, so she's not technical savvy at all, but she likes all this technology stuff. She plays games, and whatnot. And she's been sending me the pictures that AI draw to her based on the drafts that she gave to the AI. So she creating a draft of a cat in a specific pose, and she asks the AI to draw her a cat in this specific pose, and then the AI returns her an image with a cat in this pose. So then she draw using her hand another draft of a puppy in
Okay.
another pose, and the AI draws her a puppy in this pose, and she was having fun with,
No,
with this.
because if we want to go to this level of, for example, Mid Journey, the version 5, this tool that is able to make, okay, there are many, but one of the most famous is Mid Journey. And you read the news these days with these photos. You know that the other day they wanted to arrest Donald Trump. And
Yes.
there is a person who made a Mid Journey realistic photos with police arresting Donald Trump. And then it was, wow, man, it was so cool.
Okay,
But wait. There was another one with the Pope. You see this one with the Pope that is
Yes,
dressed in
yes, I saw that.
an
I've been fooled.
Armani jacket. I just say, oh
Jacket,
man,
yes.
you're fucking good, man. It's the best
Okay,
thing I've ever
I've
seen in
been
my life.
fooled. I've been fooled by these images because I saw a photo of a Pope vibing on Burning Man in the Burning Man
Wow.
festival, and I really thought that this was a legit photo.
It's impossible to know now. No, it's crazy.
And then I realized that this was fake, and this was okay. That at this point you cannot trust anything
I need to send
you
to
saw
you
on the
because
internet.
this morning I saw photos of Angela Merkel and who was the other guy? It was an ex-president of USA, Barack Obama.
Okay.
It was Angela Merkel and Barack Obama in the beach, playing with the sun, making castles. Okay, really, totally realistic. And you were watching that. I was telling at the beginning, I know that this is not true because I cannot believe Donald Trump, no, Barack Obama and Angela Merkel running on the beach like two kids, two 5-year-old kids playing, two person in love. And really, are photos. This is not someone making a draw. It's a realistic photo. And when you see that, you say, wow, man, how is that possible that is so cool like it is? And it's crazy. No, we are reaching a level of, but the same that we get now, you know that with GPT, there will be a plugin now that needs to be released, the version alpha in the next weeks, that is going to be able to make videos. So video from test. But okay, there are companies these days that they are doing something like that. But what they do these days is you give to them a test, then they read the test, they have a library with videos, they choose a video that more or less is related to what the test is telling. For example, you have a test of 5 lines, they made with artificial intelligence a summary of these 5 lines, and they understand that the 5 lines they are talking about, imagine, money. And they have a video of one guy with dollars, throwing the dollars. Thing like that. So, but what what OpenAI is going to do is something to different level. So it's something to the level of, you remember what they presented GPT-4? That this guy made a paint of a web page with the hand. So he took a photo.
Yes.
And the code was there in 1 second. The code for this fucking web page. So at the end, it's going to be at this level. So the idea is that you want to have a video of whatever thing, you create the test of the video. So you have the script, and then automatically the video appears. So
when it comes to videos, this is scary shit, because once it's released, you can't trust anything that's released on internet, because you don't know who and how will use this, and you don't know. Nobody will tell you that this video was created using chat-gpt or other algorithms. They just put it on news, and everybody will believe this. So,
yes.
And everybody will believe that something happened, and no one will have a way to check if this is true, because I live here, you live there, and they said something happened in Antarctica, for example. No one can get to Antarctica and check if this something there that happened there is true. But we see this on news, and we believe this.
There are no challenges that we couldn't overcome. Whether it is immediate infrastructure problems or planning a future project, we won't simply answer your questions. We become a part of your team to help you complete the mission. Our solutions consider the interests of your business and the combined expertise of the industry, as our staff is made up of more than a dozen experts in different areas who share decades of field-tested experience and knowledge with you.
And in the light of that, I think it is worth mentioning a letter, an open letter that a lot of people signed about an open letter to all AI labs to immediately pause their development for at least 6 months. You've heard about that.
Yes? Yeah, I read that letter, yes.
And I would like to read a part of this letter, and then I will ask you one question. So the letter goes as follows. Contemporary AI systems are now becoming human competitive at generic tasks, and we must ask ourselves, should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? Well, obviously. Should we automate away all the jobs, including the fulfilling ones? Should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? Should we risk loss of control of our civilization? Such decision must not be delegated to unelected tech leaders. And I want to make pause here and discuss who are these unelected tech leaders and why we are discussing them only now, because we've been delegated a lot to them since, I don't know, since Google been invented. So why this is a concern today, that some people, some tech leaders are taking control of our lives? Why it's suddenly important today?
Okay, it's important because GPT is here. So, but we need to understand.
Okay, let's actually say, do you even agree with the letter says?
Okay, yes, and yes, for sure that there are a number of companies that are having more power than whatever other government in the world. Okay, it's better to say no whatever government, because whatever government can shut down whatever company in 2 seconds. So if the US administration, they want to create a law because this is a state of war, blah, 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 Google shut down in 2 seconds. This is for sure. So first is the government, second is the company. We know that. But first is the government of USA, and second is the company, but there is no position for other countries. So what I mean is that the government of USA never is going to shut down Google because something is happening in Nigeria. So it's something like, I don't care to Nigeria. I'm going to do what I want with what I do. Maybe I have regulation in my country, but not in yours. What I want to say with that is that if you compare how it was the war in 1960 and how it is today, in 2023, the war is completely different. And it's only 63 years. So it's not 2,000 years, it's only 63. So and only if you compare, for example, the amount of different works, because until 1960, more or less, all the people were working in the same places. So you have factory work, you have office work, things like that. Now, these days, you have hundreds of different kind of works that wasn't there before. Like for example, YouTuber, podcaster, hundreds of those works. And what is happening now that with GPT, there is a panic because many of those work are going to disappear. So, and then
yes,
the people is going to lose the jobs. But at the same time, there is an alternative to create a new jobs. Because the first thing that everyone has is panic. Because the panic is coming with the fear. So you have fear because something new appeared. I don't understand that. Then I have panic. And when the panic starts, then I start the aggressivity, and then I start these kind of things. We don't need to have AI to have governments that are controlling every one of us. Always, one of the main points of whatever government is to try to tell to you what you need to think. And I don't need to go to whatever historically important moment. You can go to today, 2023. Today, I was watching the news on TV, and one of the left TV shows were telling something about something that is happening here. Some woman lady called Ana Obregón, but okay, that is completely opposite to what other TV shows on the right side were telling. So everyone tried to sell to you an idea and a fake news. And it's not because AI, it's because it's like that.
But at the same time, when you're talking to governments, they always influence our lives. But at the same time, we can't replace the government with other people. When we don't like what the government does, we go to streets like France does, for example, today. Yeah, so they didn't like a new proposition, and they're on the streets revolting against their government. But we have, and this term stuck in my head: unelected tech leaders. We didn't elect them, but they influence our lives, and we have no tools, we have no power to change this, we have no power to protest. And when something happens, we have no instruments to tell them that we don't like it, we don't want it, in a similar way how France have against their government today. And this is something that I think is very important, is much more important than GPT. And I have high hopes for this letter that this will switch the paradigm, and it will start the discussion whether we should regulate this area and whether we should elect people who make decisions on how our technology should evolve in the future and what we should do with this technology. Because for now, to me, this looks like I don't know. It's like a portal emerged in the middle of the world, a portal to another dimension, and we decided, okay, let's call, I don't know, Kurt Russell and ask him to go inside, like in a Stargate movie, and investigate what's on the other side. And we start throwing different things, and we start taking things back from this inside of this portal without thinking what is happening. But and and now something similar is happening with chat-gpt. GPT and AI technologies. They are evolving too fast, and we are trying to I don't know what we are trying to do with this. So I think that humanity is not keeping up with itself, and we've been asked to slow down a little bit because technologies that are too new and too powerful are emerging too quickly, and there's no time to regulate them because they do not have time to assess the risks. Okay, so imagine if getting back to the portal, imagine if this portal to another dimension appears. I don't believe that we will start investigating it right away. We will send a camera to it, and we will spend decades just looking through it before we will decide to go through it. But this is not something that happens with AI technologies. We are already using it. We are not researching it. We are using it today. And the gap between the most technologically skilled person and the most technically literate person has never been so wide. And while some people are asking, how do you find this chat GPT of yours, or what is it? The others are already making a lot of money using this, and with what is most important, with a lot less efforts. And this gap will become even wider. And this is why I think that one of the reasons why they decided to ask humanity to slow down a bit. But I don't think that 6 months is enough.
But there is no way that you stop that. Okay. The problem is next. What do you do now? You shut down GPT, or you shut down all the AI projects in the planet Earth. Then you shut down Google. Then you shut down everything. So I understand the concern that there is a number of people with more power than others that never has been elected. But imagine in the 19th century. So 17, 16, all the humanity, all the history of the humans, there were a number of people non-elected. Even there are kind of people called kings and dictators and many others that I think that 50% of the planet Earth is ruled in this way. So non-elected people. So we back again to this Occidental point of view that what I think that is correct should be correct, and what you think that is not is correct is not correct because it's not my point of view. So this is not you can't stop that today. So now what you need to do is you need to regulate that for sure, but you need to take care in the regulation because, for example, chat-gpt and no GPT, chat-gpt, that is GPT with a layer on top, he says, again, that he has not feelings and he has not ideas. So that he is only an AI language model and that's all. So then if this is true, when you talk about whatever topic, for example, whatever topic you talk about this agenda to 2030, or you talk about the no binary or whatever kind of topic where you can have super political movement from left or right or center, these kind of topics that are super particular these days, this machine learning, he has a point of view. So
yes, and I think this is just unacceptable.
And then if you have a point of view, then there is a problem because you are not a thing to give point of view. You are a thing to give facts. And then, for example, when you talk about something of those topics and you tell, okay, could you give me a science study that said that this point of view A is true? And he gives you that. And okay, can you give me a point of view that there is a study of the point B? Yes, I have that. So then if you have scientific studies about point A and about point B, why do you say to me that only point A is true? So maybe point A and B are true, no? And say, yes, but okay, point A. So what I mean is that there is this is what is critical and this is dangerous because you can't have a tool to convince everyone of something. And you can see in Facebook, for example, how it's working Facebook. You are a psychopath and you imagine something in this way. I'm going to show only to you this post that makes you happy. Because if I give to you a post that doesn't make you happy, you're not going to be in Facebook. The same that Twitter is doing. So I only going to give you what you want to eat. So I like tortilla. Then you're going to eat tortilla every day, honey. Don't worry. Tortilla for you and for all your family. And this is how it's working, these kind of tools. And now, chat-gpt can do the same. So because every time that is answering you, can give to you a little pill or something. Okay, here you have something of my medicine. And this is true that this is not okay. But okay, whatever case, we have European Union, and they're going to be able to put a rule for everything because they regulate rules for everything and everything. And only one point that I forget to tell something. Sorry for interrupting. When I was talking the model of GPTs, because I remember that now, the model of artificial intelligence that Google made, today there is a news that Google workers says that how they train this model was using GPT. So
using GPT, yes.
This is the most fucking crazy news that means that Google is nothing now, is in this thing, AI thing. You should close the store, go home, and don't talk about that anymore. Man, so how can you use your competitor to train your model? And they were scary that maybe we are not making something that is legal.
Okay, so this is something that I wanted to ask you too. Don't you think this is a little bit suspicious? And I know I'm stepping on a thin ice, and I don't want to tell some conspiracies here, but we have a small team of enthusiasts that formed this open AI initiative as an open source platform out of nowhere. And we have Amazon, Apple, Google, they've been working on chat models with their Alexa, Sirius, Cortanas, what's not, for decades, but they didn't invent that. What a team of a small team from OpenAI managed to create in like 2 years. I don't know how long they've been working, but a year ago nobody knew what chat-gpt is, but now it's the most advanced technology on planet Earth, and even Google uses this to train their own AI algorithms. This is beyond me. How if this even happened? Why tech giants didn't develop something like this before some open AI initiative did?
Okay, we need
What
to.
happened?
Yes. So how a language model is working is with with question answers. So for example, imagine if we have a database, or our conversation. We have a question, who made something, and an answer, and this is the answer. A simple answer, or complex answer. So we have question and answers.
Okay.
That normally is an HTML file, and then we feed our model with these question and answers. So this is the process of train. So is feeding the model with information, more info, more info, more info, more info, more info. The problem is that this process of train is money, consume money. So when I'm talking about money, it's talking about millions of dollars. So then the problem is Google, and this is something that, for example, I was talking with Kirill today. I think that what Kirill was telling is, until it's true, that Google, they try to do something perfect. So, and until it's not perfect, we don't want to release that. But the problem is that there is no perfection. So the other day I was watching a company pitch, and one guy with a billion company, he was telling, if you have a product, sell the product to the market. Don't wait until the product is done. Because if you wait, it's not never going to be done. So if you wait until the product is done, never will be done. So then you have a product, sell the product to the market, the people is going to use this product, and then it's going to enjoy the product. What did the people from API did? They are in the market since long time. So it's not like it's 1 week ago, 2 weeks. I remember talking about that with Kirill time ago. So they released 3.0, and it was a model that it wasn't nothing else that, if I remember, 7 million. The same one that these people from Stanford Alpaca opened. So something little, but it was the model. But in the meantime, what they did, they opened a model, and they were working in 3.5. Training.
Mm-hmm.
I have a model, now I can get money from people. This is what I made with, imagine, 100,000 euros. Now put money. And then a lot of people, Max, a lot of people start to put money. Microsoft, a million. If I remember the amount of money, I think that Microsoft put now 10,000 billions.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember. Something like that. Why? Because how they put the money, they put Azure. They put the machines where are executed. So then,
Mm-hmm.
if you have this monument and then they released 3.5, and the people was crazy with 3.5. But for example, there is a white page right by Microsoft people. Imagine Microsoft people, they started to work with, so they started to invest in OpenAI 1 year ago. So there is a white page, a paper, right by the Microsoft people, that they are telling how crazy it is GPT-4. And they started to make this document 6 months before it was released. So they were testing GPT-4 for 6 months, and they were quiet. And the people they were playing with 3.5. And the people, oh, there are many problems. So when I ask this question, is not true. Oh, this is false. This is true. This is false. For sure.
Yeah. I understand.
They made something. They released something because the people start to talk about that. And more, this is a marketing idea, very brilliant marketing idea.
You're saying, for example, if, Microsoft released chat-gpt version 1 back in 2012 or something like that, the audience wouldn't be happy about it, and the company loses money because the costs is dropping, stakeholders are not happy, shareholders not happy.
You need to choose your audience. When you release a lower version, you don't need to release you need to think in the audience of your product. Maybe you release the version 1.0 and the version 1.0 is only for universities, to study, to work about that. It's not that I'm going to tell you, could you pay to me money for that? Because they never ask for money until the version 4.0. So they spend billions, thousands of billions with no revenue, because I cannot tell you, give me money for the version 3.5, because why? If it's failing. But now with the version 4.0, yes, for sure. Here, this is my money. Why? Because it's something crazy. So I have the version 4.0, and it's something that is, wow, it's fantastic. You can do thousands of things. For example, in this paper, they were talking, these people from Microsoft, the capability to create 3D games. So, and this is something out of the mind, because when you're talking about a two-dimensional thought, it's something that whatever animal can do, but when we're talking about a three-dimensional game, is something like, it's not simple. You need to be a real clever person to do that.
Yes.
So, and it's crazy because, for example, these guys, they made a test. I don't remember, it was to be a lawyer in the School of Lawyer in USA, whatever. It was a test of those. And the average of the student that approved, it was 160. The good number, it was 180. And the maximum is 200. GPT-4 get 185. So it's something crazy in the first try. Because this is the good thing, that when it's trained and he knows that this is not true, in the second try and the third try until the fifth try, in the number 5, there is no human smarter than GPT. So because he knows that this is not okay, and he remembered that this is not okay. So, and then he is not failing anymore. So what I try to say is that it's crazy.
Yes, I feel like if we want to keep up with this technology, we have to run faster, even faster. Because to me, everything that you say sounds like the way how we learn things changes. The way how you've been researching this ChatGPT and how work with that and how to program using it a lot since recently. Obviously, the way how you do this is a little bit different from how you been learning, I don't know, DevOps back in days. Is it true? So do you think that the way how you learn things changes? Did it change to you?
Imagine my son, 9 years old. Next year is going to be 10. And you go now to school and the teacher says to him, hey, you need to do that and that and that. So how can you stop kids to don't use these kind of tools? Because before that, in 2022, it was using Google and using Wikipedia. But everyone has Wikipedia. There is only one source of truth. But now the question is that I can get to you Wikipedia. You can condense Wikipedia. And then you can rephrase, like if you are a 16 years old guy, or you are a rapper, or you are a French guy that is learning Spanish. So you can tell to ChatGPT explain me that in this and this and this and this and this and this and this way. So it's impossible that you get that I'm getting this information from Wikipedia. So there is no way. So I made it's just a summary of what. So unless that you have all this trillion of information and you have another model that is able to compare to other model that what you made was for another model. It's impossible.
Yes, but how will we learn new things now that we have this? I don't want to sound like I don't know, like an old person, yeah, being grumpy about younglings or something like that. But if you ask Google and you read the Wikipedia article, you have to understand what it says before you can use it in your own life. And you have to read documentation of a new technology, you have to do documentation of a programming language, a documentation for Kubernetes, or you have to read a book by Kirill about Terraform or something like that to understand how to use this. But now you don't even need to read this to start using it. And it's not even you who will be using it.
Yes, there is a joke that is a guy in a computer, and he has a line, and he says to the colleague, "I'm going to write an email to this guy, and I only write 10 words." And then he sent these 10 words to chat-gpt and write a 10 pages email. And the other guy, the one who received the email, is, "I received a 10 pages email. I'm going to reduce in one line." And at the end, what the A sent to B is the same thing, but okay, in the middle, GPT was there twice. So at the end, it's this stupid thing. So sometimes we only need to say to you, "Hey, stop to do that," but I'm going to send to you 10 pages that I'm going to reduce in one line that again is stop to do that. No,
this is funny.
No, but about the kids, the thing with the kids or the work. Imagine, how can you tell now to how many developers are in the world? 100 million developers. How can you tell to one developer, don't use ChatGPT? So how can you can tell to me? Because how many hours in my life I spent checking for an error code? For example, one of the pages that are going to die is all these pages that tell to you where they have an error, like all these kind of pages that are telling to you that. Because at the end now, you don't need to go to these pages. Everything is there. Because now, this is the good point. So, okay. The point is, you don't need to leave internet. And this is something that, talking about Kirill now, that is not here with us today, he was telling something super interesting the other day about who is losing and why. And the real loser in this case is Google, because the model of Google is you go to a browser and you go to my page, I put your ads, and then you start to study internet in my page. You put my page, I saw my ads, and then you go to where I want you to go. And now the model changed. So, and the model now is you go to ChatGPT and you never leave ChatGPT. So there is no ads because you pay. And this is the difference. So in one is it's free, I don't pay, but it's full of advertisement and you send me to where you want. In the other one is there is no ads and you show me what you want to show me for sure.
Same is for a lot of things. For example, okay, let's take programming courses. Let's take Udemy, for example. There are a lot of courses that teach you how to do a lot of things. Now, instead of listening to this course, I can start GPT and ask him, ask it to explain to me, like I'm 5, what is Google Cloud Platform, and ask him to train me throughout it. And in a matter of time, I will become a Google Cloud developer or a Google Cloud architect, thanks to ChatGPT. He will explain to me how everything works. He will check my mistakes. He will explain to me where I did wrong, what I did right. And do you think this will happen? Because I think a lot of people will soon realize they can learn from it in a more efficient way. They can use this tool as a teacher, as a mentor directly, and paying nothing to courses, programming courses platforms, and without paying, I don't know, to us for webinars, for workshops.
No, yes. Okay. I don't know what is going to happen because I have no future vision. I don't know how will happen. But if you tell to me there are many jobs that at least are in danger.
No,
First,
yes, they
and jobs
they're
because
in
of
danger, but I
companies
want
and things like that. Because,
no,
okay,
but I want to understand. Okay, no, the reason why I'm asking is because I want to understand will the way how we learn new things change? Because what made you understand, I don't know, DevOps in a way? Because you are a
but the question is,
top level expert.
do you need to learn DevOps now? Because the point is,
I
how
don't know.
can
Do you?
yeah, me neither. So how can I do that? And he said to you, you need to click here, click here, click. Okay, I click it. That's all. And now
Okay,
I want to
not
do that
DevOps,
and
for
that.
example.
Okay, click. That's all. It's over. Hey, I have an alert. I have a problem. What do I do? Okay, click here. That's all. And remember, it's not perfect, eh? It's a machine with errors. So let's say that 16% of the not the answer in total of part of the answer is not okay, or 15%, but before it was 35, but now is but imagine GPT-5, that maybe the error is only 1%. But so the way that you learn is changing. If I don't know, I don't think that in the next year, but in the next years, yes, because nobody's going to learn. Why?
Yeah, but what I mean, okay, so without even talking about DevOps, let's say you are a top level professional. You are professional in whatever, and there is a certain skill that you have that allowed you to learn a certain profession, a certain skill in a way to become a top level professional. Do you think we, instead of learning things, we should develop other perks that will allow us to use advanced technologies better than some other people do this? So instead of understanding how, for example, how Google Cloud Platform works, I should learn how to manipulate chat-gpt in a way to make me a better professional than a different person. And what are those skills that help me to develop this kind of perk? What I'm trying to say is that instead of the way how we learn these things will change, and instead of learning technologies, we will be developing soft skills, right? So we've been developing how we understand, how quickly we can use new knowledge and operate with and understand how to manipulate AI in a way to exploit it, for example, yes, and to achieve better results than other person that uses the same AI algorithms, for example.
But we are day by day close to what Asimov and all these ideas that there were before, all these ideas of the human is not doing at all. Is enjoying the life because there are machines doing everything for you. So you don't need to learn. But then it's crossing with the line of Matrix and all other movies. And then maybe we are only the food for the machines. But okay, I think that, again, is what I was telling before. I think that when you don't understand something, you have fear, and the fear comes with panic, and the panic brings later on the violence. So we are now in the non-knowledge moment. Okay, I don't understand that. Why is this happening? So some people is jumping to the fear moment. So, and this fear moment is going to jump later on in a panic moment when some people is going to lose the job. And it's an artificial intelligence. It's not a machine. It's not a robot. Because if it's a cyborg, I can imagine people on the street, like in France, where you were telling, They are complaining about something that they're 18 years old and they're complaining about the pensions when they will be 65. They don't care about that. So one guy with 18 years old, they don't care about how much money you're going to get with 65 years old. Because this is going to happen in 50 years. Come on, please. Don't tell me stupid things.
Yes, absolutely.
Why the elders, the guys with 65 years old are not there? Why? Because this is the people who need to be there. So, but okay, this is a different topic. So don't mix, because this is a manipulation from the left and from the right, the far left and far right, trying to fuck a guy who is in the center that try to save money to the country. But okay, different topic at all. So
yes, so we only change the technology, we advance in technology, but the way how the world works will stay the same. The guys on the left will invent their technology to skew the world into their direction. The guys on the right will invent their technology that will skew the world into their perspective, and everything will stay the same after all. Okay, I think this is a positive note that we will end. And thank you, Pablo, for joining me today. And thank you, everybody else who've been listening to us and been watching. Anyway, give us likes. Don't forget to share. And don't forget to subscribe to MKDev Dispatch newsletter. And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
See you. Thank you. Ciao.
The cloud tech industry is evolving so fast. Do you keep up with it by improving your skills or upskilling your team? At MKDev, we offer a variety of workshops for just that, from the basics to expert knowledge. Before delivering our workshops and training sessions, we carry out a detailed assessment of each participant. To make sure the workshop is helpful for you and your team, we will add more content to it or throw out what you already know. Or we create a custom workshop specifically for the needs of your team and the specifics of your project.